ladies, how are you doing? Welcome to Naya Sim. If this is your first time of coming across this channel, sweetheart, kindly smash that subscribe button, turn your notification so you are notified anytime I upload, and please give this video a thumb up. Shout out to every one of you. Thank you so much for the support. To all my members, I appreciate you all. You all are the real MVPs. So today we'll be talking something very important, and it's about this European woman, because she also decided to show us her background and all that. Who thought it was okay to be in everybody's business because they feel like they must be in your business, they must know what you all are doing, and why do you have to exclude out in some certain things? They believe that there is nothing like culture appropriation, so cultures are meant to be shared, and people are supposed to also be part of your culture, because they have always been in people's businesses right from the onset. Right from the beginning of the whole thing, slavery and all that, they have been stealing from people and always wanting to be the center of attraction in everything. So, but this time around, people are telling her to back off, but she thinks, no, why do I have to back off when it is my world? We are Europeans and we all have the rights to do everything we want and to be in all you people's and culture appropriation and the rest of it. So she went further to define what culture is. And she started by saying it is all about intelligence, kindliness, order, generosity, and so much more. And a lot of people are. She also decided to show us her ethnicity, estimate, and all that. And I looked at her, and all I can say is there is nothing that I see. I see just a colonizer wanting to be in you all businesses, and nothing is gonna happen. A lot of people actually came all out because they were like, at first, some people thought it was a skit or something, but then they decided to sit down and listen and saw some of her videos, and they said, no, this can't be happening, but it happened. I am rolling this clip. We'll come back to talk about it. Let me know what you all think in the comment section. So straight up, let's get into it.
Many diversities within us white skin-toned people. And I think the same can be said of other ethnicities, because with brown culture, red culture, yellow culture, black culture, as well as white culture, we need a foundation that builds into all that we really are on every level. It can get really complicated because we get into all the factors of nationalities, countries, ethnicities, cultures, and races, but not one person is just one background. So this is where it's really interesting and fascinating. So to me, white culture is industrialism, cultivation, intelligence, cleanliness, order, generosity, and so much more. Check out my ethnic background. Don't forget some things don't show up in the test results. Good and evil exists in all cultures.
At first, I thought it was a skit until she said this.
It's terrifying, actually. This is really disturbing, but it's almost like society and everyone on TikTok is literally acting like North Korea. How is it that you all are punishing everyone around you for our ancestors, for things that you and I have not done? What is wrong with you? That is not how it works. We're living here and now.
You're getting eat up a lot in your comments already. But it never ceases to amaze me how you will want to be separated from your ancestors and their atrocities, but you sit there and you claim what is supposed to be their inventions or their order as your own. It's hypocritical, but it's not white culture. That's a characteristic. Which brings me to a couple of things, and these are just my own observations, okay? There seems to be a lack of growth. Still considers red and yellow proper words to say. We have not yet learned that those are actual slurs, okay? Also, there seems to be this consensus in your culture that has yet to identify what qualities are, what characteristics are, and what cultural beliefs, cultural traditions are. It's mighty funny that I came across your video this morning because I've been watching Modern Family for the last week. The show is the epitome of what you believe white culture to be. One of the reasons that it irritates my soul is because it sets off this belief and this pressure that white people feel they have to live up to, the status that white people feel that they have to live up to. And because of that status and because of that pressure, it creates something that the rest of us have to suffer from, including you, including your own culture. You want to know what that is? It's cognitive dissonance and self-deception, okay? Your self-deception and your cognitive dissonance is even hurting your own community. Because you have this false belief that your community created all of this and your community is clean and order. So you try to live up to something that does not exist. And when that happens, things fly under the radar. There was a family on here not too long ago who had millions of views on YouTube. It was a Mormon family. Nobody was able to see that that lady was abusing her children because they looked clean. On the outside, they put up this picture and it flew right over everybody's heads. Now, when I first saw the family photo and I saw the little girl in the front, I knew something was wrong. I knew something was wrong. But from somebody who is suffering from cognitive dissonance, you would think that those are happy kids getting ready to go to school. Those kids were hurting, but you couldn't see it because of your self-deception and your cognitive dissonance. But it's flying under the radar because you can't see what's causing it. Now, I took a while looking on your page. What in the unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt is going on?
And to me, white culture is industrialism, cultivation, intelligence, cleanliness, order, generosity, and so
No, sis! White culture is dialing 911, asking for a manager, running up the stairs in a horror movie, bringing a gun to shoot up a theater at said horror movie, bringing a gun to shoot up a school, having a large platform as a school shooter, joining the KKK, flying a Trump flag in the back of your truck, wearing anything Confederacy, putting costumes on animals, wearing your outside shoes in the house, letting the cats walk on the countertop, not washing your legs in the shower, explaining someone else's culture to them, eating deep fried cauliflower, protesting for dead animals but not people, bringing guns to church, becoming fragile when we're caught out on anything, thinking we're superior than other races when we have absolutely zero evidence, revising history, telling people born in America to go back to their country, listening to country music, holding up a dead fish on a dating app, thinking Jesus is white, believing unfettered capitalism is the best thing for them, putting raisins in shit that it has no business being in, eating cottage cheese, knowing exactly how many colored friends you have, saying colored, unseasoned chicken, bringing potato salad to the cookout, driving in circles and calling it a sport, only knowing how to cook meth, getting divorced from your sister, unpaid internships, bumper stickers, music piracy, New Balance shoes, $10 coffees, calling your parents by their first name, religions that their parents don't belong to, going to the farmer's market, camping, ugly sweater parties, shopping without being harassed, having your house appraised at fair value, not having to teach my kids how to deal with cops, knowing your kids will be given curricular material that will testify to the existence of their race, not seeing color, forgetting the past, experiencing prejudice and calling it racism, having your voice heard, believing your struggle is equivalent to oppression.
in today's edition with Lady Bedazzled Hannah, I will be answering your question, what is white culture?
I don't think anybody asked you that, Hannah. But sure, I'll give you a chance. Let's see if you're educated on this particular subject. Go ahead.
The wording of white culture is a broad term that I use that umbrellas the many diversities within us white skin-toned people. And I think the same can be said of other ethnicities because with brown culture, red culture, yellow culture, black culture, as well as white culture, we need a foundation that builds into all that we really are on every level.
Did this bitch just say red culture? I've never met any red people. Have y'all met any red colored people? I don't. What is she talking about? You know what? Let me stop. I'm gonna give her a chance. Okay? I'm gonna give her a chance. Maybe this will improve. I don't know. Let's just see. Let's just see what she's got to say.
It can get really complicated because we get into all the factors of nationalities, countries, ethnicities, cultures, and races. But not one person is just one background. So this is where it's really interesting and fascinating.
Okay, Hannah. All right. Now we're getting somewhere. You seem to have a pretty basic understanding of the difference between race, nationality, ethnicity, and culture. All right. Keep going. Keep going. Where are you going with this?
So to me, white culture is industrialism, cultivation, intelligence, cleanliness, order, generosity, and so much more.
And you lost me again. Hannah, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but even historically speaking, none of those things are true when it comes to quote unquote white culture. It's just not. Especially when it comes to the whole cleanliness thing. A lot of y'all don't even use washcloths to this day. A lot of y'all don't even wash your entire bodies whenever you shower, if you do shower often, which seems like it's a thing that y'all don't even do every day. So but I'll let you keep going. Maybe it'll get better. This is kind of a roller coaster right now, but maybe it'll go back up. I don't know. Let's just see.
Check out my ethnic background. Don't forget some things don't show up in the test results. Good and evil exist in all cultures.
It did not get better. It did not get better. Hannah, what's going on here? I'm confused as to how someone can have a collection of thoughts like this and just freely share them with the internet. Like, where is this coming from? Why are you like this? Oh. Never mind, Hannah. It all makes sense now.
On today's edition with Lady Bedazzled Hannah, I will be answering your question, what is white culture?
Hit me with it.
The wording of white culture is a broad term that I use that umbrellas the many diversities within us white skin-toned people.
So we're off to a rocky start because the category white has never been inclusive of all of the people in the world with the lightest skin tones. Racial categories are and have always been first and foremost political. And even services like this, which will readily admit that their estimates, their guesses, are sort of a post hoc attempt to apply a thin veneer of science to race, which is exactly what she's also trying to do here by making it about skin, when it is and has always been about so much more.
And I think the same can be said of other ethnicities because with brown culture, red culture, yellow culture, black culture, as well as white culture.
I have literally never heard anyone say red culture, yellow culture, or brown culture before. This sounds like the categories of scientific racism, but with the word culture slapped on the end. The creation of scientific racism is usually credited to the 18th century scientist Carl Linnaeus, the father of modern taxonomy. And Linnaeus divided us into 4 different varieties, which you can see he assigned colors to. And his work was built on by scientists like Johann Blumenbach, the father of racial classification. Blumenbach gave us the now familiar 5 races, 4 of which were degenerate forms of the original due to things like environmental factors, and I'll give you one guess which one he thought was the original. And I could summarize the work of more racist scientists here, but I think the point is pretty clear. These categories were created in service of white supremacy. No, black culture is absolutely a term that people use. And I think that this is a good excuse to bring up something that the writer, sociologist, and activist W.E.B. Du Bois once wrote. Namely that the only American music exists because of black folks. Popular music genres that we readily associate today with white culture, like country, rock and roll, we don't have them if we don't have black culture. So whatever your definition of white culture is, it better include cultural appropriation.
So to me, white culture is industrialism, cultivation, intelligence, cleanliness, order, generosity, and so much more.
Which sounds an awful lot like capitalism and colonialism. So if you were trying to demonstrate that white culture is in fact white supremacy, congrats, I think you did it.
The wording of white culture is a broad term that I use that umbrellas the many diversities within us white skin-toned people. Not one person is just one background. To me, white culture is industrialism, cultivation, intelligence, cleanliness, order, generosity. Check out my ethnic background. Don't forget some things don't show up in the test results.
Wow.
Okay. Hannah, stop appropriating our shit because we're having to watch you dollar store flip-flop in between being a white nationalist and a cultural appropriation to the native communities. Because you cannot sit there and wear Family Dollar regalia. You have the audacity in this video to tell us that nobody is completely indigenous in origin. No shit, Sherlock, but those non-indigenous areas of origin are non-willing. Those are stains and scars of our generational trauma. Those are things that came over here with colonizers, introduced themselves unwillingly through SA. So you're gonna sit there and you're gonna give us a fucking list of, well, Europeans are cultivating and cleanly and innovative. No. You guys came here and could not even fucking survive a winter. Could not even feed yourselves. We helped you, taught you, clothed you, fed you, sheltered you. It was not intelligence or innovation that made Europeans able to take over our lands. It was disease and contamination. It was the inability to have cleanliness. So if cleanliness is next to godliness, then I guess we know where that stands. Stop appropriating our culture. Stop wearing cheap-ass, tacky regalia. And you are not part of it. It does not matter how many times at night you wish upon a star or pray to your fucking colonizer god. Own your own heritage. Know who you are.
So to me, white culture is industrialism, cultivation, intelligence, cleanliness, order, generosity, and so much more.
Lady Bedazzled Hannah, I'm going to explain this to you calmly and clearly. That is Nazi bullshit that you are spreading. That is blatant, literal white supremacy. To say that these virtues, like cleanliness, industrialization, intelligence, generosity, order, to say that all of those are part of white culture is to imply that they are not culturally relevant enough to people who are not white. So to put you in this bubble of exclusivity with your many virtues that make you such a good person, you are literally placing yourself on a pedestal above anyone who is not white, because you are implying that because you are white, you inherently have all of these virtues, and people who are not white couldn't possibly. You are literally a white supremacist.
Yeah, friend, she is just yet another white, problematic woman on this app. Here's one video of her, dressed up like a Native American. Here's another one. Here she was doing something African American related. She's been problematic for a long time now, and people have been calling her out. She needs to stick with all of her baby videos, stick with those. But every now and then she rears her ugly head to do this type of foolishness.
On today's edition with Lady Bedazzled Hannah, I will be answering your question, what is white culture?
Okay, Hannah, I don't know if I asked that question, but let's go.
Use that umbrellas the many diversities within us white skin-toned people. And I think the same can be said of other ethnicities because with brown culture, red culture...
All right, I'm just gonna stop you right there. I know all us brown people look the same, but we're all very different. Take India, where my parents are from. There are scores of languages. And within those languages even, there's different cultural and religious communities. And while I will admit people who have brown skin tone will call ourselves brown, I'd be stunned if anybody calls themselves yellow. Which makes me think maybe you shouldn't also call anybody yellow. And there's lots of ethnicities who are East Asian. That you don't know that is really your failing. But this video was about white culture, so let's go back to that.
It can get really complicated because we get into all the factors of nationalities,
Sure does.
countries, ethnicities, cultures, and races.
All right, so you can tell that there are different nationalities in whiteness. Good job. There are plenty of differences between traditional communities from people with white skin.
Cities, cultures, and races, but not one person is just one background.
Actually, I am. But that's not what you're saying, right? You're saying white Americans are many things. Okay. So I will say that I happen to grow up in a part of America where white Americans often were all Hungarian, all Czech, or maybe half Italian and half Irish. And I love this guy who made this joke about Americans going to Ireland.
Called When an American Spends 4 Hours Telling You How Irish They Are.
So there are actually plenty of white Americans who are tied to their roots, maybe to excess. If you're from that original country, you might feel a little pressed. But there are white Americans, not you apparently, but who do have cultural roots. But keep going.
So to me, white culture is industrialism, cultivation, intelligence, cleanliness, order.
So she started kind of right. Industrialization really did take hold and become global because of European Americans and Europeans. Now, after that, once she says industrialization, she says things like cleanliness and civility and all that kind of stuff. And what she means is what she perceives as cleanliness, what she perceives as civility. And I would argue that while industrialization started in Western countries, so Europe, America, Canada, that the thing she's calling white culture is actually capitalism. And that's something that has gone beyond race. I would be hard-pressed to believe that she sees Mexico as a European society. It's a very industrialized society. Not to mention many people are ethnically European and probably have the same Germanic stock that she does. What she's trying to do is justify a sort of white supremacy, where she has flattened both whiteness and everybody's else's race and conflated everything else to make herself feel good. But she ends like this, so she knows what she's doing.
Don't forget some things don't show up in the test results. Good and evil exist in all culture.
And so does stupidity.
Things don't show up. White culture is industrialism, cultivation, intelligence, cleanliness, order, generosity, and so much more. Check out my ethnic background. Don't forget some things don't show up in the test results.
Black culture is intelligence, innovation, utilizing a wash rag in the shower, making sure that we wash our feet and our legs, seasoning food, and making sure that we can enjoy the sun. Check out my ethnic background. Don't forget, not everything shows up in the results. All in all, this woman has to be the biggest dog whistle for white supremacy. I know she knows what she's doing, and I truly believe she believes what she's saying. And this is coming from the woman who dressed as Pocahontas. So, like, honestly, if you look back at her videos, none of this surprises me. I just think it's interesting how TikTok has made people this comfortable, that she gets on this app and just does stuff like this all the time. I literally think she just wakes up and says, how can I be controversial today?
I just want to remind us all that there are so many beautiful, unique, and different cultures, and it is more than okay to love and celebrate them. But what's not okay is to have these double standards and think you can do it all, but others cannot. Cheers.
See, now what you did there was start thinking with your white brain and centering yourself, and you done left logic behind.
So this is all I got from the stitches, and as you all can see, you will see that they always love to be in everybody's space, and for them that is how it should be. Because why do you have something you don't want to share with people? I mean, they believe that you are supposed to share everything with them, and they don't like to be, cut off in something. Like, why would you cut me off when I should be the center of attraction? I should be the center of everything. Man, a lot of people already waking up to you all bullshit, and people are not having all this bullshit. I mean, she woke up to, use her own dog whistle to tell us that white supremacy is still a thing and all that. And I love the fact I love how everybody actually came up for her. And did I even mention that she was also the one trying to in culture appropriate the indigenous people's culture and all that with their dresses and everything. I mean, I just do not understand why they think they should be in everybody's space and why they think they should just, I mean, be included all the time. I mean, some things are not for you and you shouldn't be there. When something is not for you, you always should learn to understand that it is not all about you. And it cannot be all about you. That's why every time you see them, they are always looking for, like every how many market days, you see them trying to culture appropriate black culture and all that. I mean, enough of all this bullshit. But I mean, she came to tell us about white culture, how intelligent and all that, stealing from people and the rest of it. And it's kind of all weird how, like, you know, every day there is something to talk about. Like, they always come up with something. Like, there is no damn day we're getting any break. I mean, nobody's getting break. That really sucks. But then it is what it is. This is them. This is who they are. And yeah, but I do not want to accept them for who they are, because, man, trying to like always be in people's businesses and all that shouldn't be a culture thing. And anyway, colonial masters. See you all in my next video. Bye for now.